The little girl who refused to leave the train. Until the police opened her backpack, the evening train from Mumbai to Delhi was packed. People argued over seats, vendors shouted through the aisles, children cried. But one passenger caught everyone's attention, a girl. She couldn't have been older than 8. She wore a faded yellow dress, old sandals, and hugged a small blue backpack tighter than anyone would hug treasure. She had no parents, no ticket, no luggage besides that backpack. When the ticket inspector arrived, she quietly whispered, "I don't have money." Passengers immediately started talking. Another runaway. Someone abandoned her. These gangs use children for begging. The inspector sighed. "Next station, you'll have to get off." The girl suddenly grabbed his hand. "Please, anywhere but there." Her voice shook so badly that even nearby passengers stopped talking. The inspector hesitated, but rules were rules. An elderly schoolteacher named Mr. Sharma, sitting nearby, offered to pay for her ticket. The inspector accepted. Everyone relaxed, except the little girl. She never smiled. She never looked out the window. She only kept checking if her backpack was still zipped. Every few minutes, she touched it, almost like she was checking whether something inside was breathing. Hours later, the train stopped unexpectedly in the middle of nowhere. Police officers entered every compartment. Routine inspection. Passengers groaned. Bags were checked one by one. When the officers reached the little girl, she panicked. "No!" She hugged the backpack to her chest. "Please don't open it." Now everyone became suspicious. One passenger whispered, "Drugs." Another said, "Gold smuggling." Someone even started recording on their phone. The police officer frowned. "Hand it over." The girl burst into tears. "You'll kill him." Silence. Everyone looked at each other. Kill who? The officer slowly unzipped the bag. Inside, there wasn't money, there weren't drugs, there wasn't gold. There was a tiny newborn baby, wrapped in an old towel, barely moving. The entire compartment froze. Someone dropped their phone. Another passenger started crying. The officer immediately lifted the baby. He was alive, weak, but alive. The girl finally spoke. "My mother died this morning." No one interrupted. Before she closed her eyes, she told me, "Take your brother somewhere safe. Never let Uncle find him." She had walked for hours, reached the railway station alone, slipped onto the train without a ticket, and hidden her baby brother inside the backpack because she feared someone would take him away. The backpack had tiny holes punched into its sides. She had made them herself, so he could breathe. Every passenger who had judged her looked down in shame. The police searched her village records. What they discovered shocked everyone. Her uncle had been illegally selling children through a trafficking network. The girl's mother had learned the truth. She tried escaping, but died before reaching help. The little girl finished the journey alone, carrying her brother and her mother's final promise. The uncle was arrested within 2 days. Several missing children were rescued because of the information the girl unknowingly provided. News channels called her brave, but she never called herself a hero. When reporters asked why she never abandoned the baby, she answered with one sentence, "He was crying, and I was the only one left." Months later, Mr. Sharma, the retired teacher who had bought her train ticket, visited the children's shelter. The little girl ran toward him. For the first time, she smiled. He eventually became the legal guardian of both children. The newborn grew up healthy. Every birthday, the teacher gave him the same blue backpack. Not because it was old, but because it once carried something more valuable than money. It carried hope. Years later, whenever someone asked the young man why he still kept that torn blue backpack, he would smile and say, "Because before it carried my books, it carried my life." And suddenly, everyone wanted to know what had happened on that train. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe to Split Tales for more stories. Until next time, every story has 2 sides.